pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
MHS Student Advisory Committee.
Who's going first?
Who's going first? Go.
We got the lead-off batter.
Okay, make sure the green light's on.
Ah, sorry. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Rachel, and I'm the senior representative. As May quickly approaches, and with it, the advanced placement exams, I wanted to take tonight to just report about what MHS has been doing to help students prepare for these tests. During the week of March 27th, there were 2 days where underclassmen had to take MCAS, which allowed other students to arrive to school a couple of hours later than the usual start time. And then the school capitalized on this, and multiple AP classes offered mock exams for students to take during this time. Students were able to come into school at the regular start time and take a full practice test, which gave them a much better sense of what to expect come test day. One student who was able to take a mock exam in their AP biology class said that this helped them practice and have a better understanding of the timing constraints and the environment of AP exams. They said that they appreciated the opportunity to take this mock test without it interfering with any of their classes and without having to take the extra time to stay late after school or come in for a Saturday session. Also, this year, the school received grant funding from Quest Diagnostics and is able to offer review classes through Kaplan for 6 of the AP courses offered at MHS. These review courses run for 8 sessions and include practice material, practice tests, and classes, all free of charge to the students taking them. Additionally, the school is able to reimburse the students taking these classes for the APA test that goes along with the course. The school is also doing a similar review course for the SATs, which is also nearing. One student who took the SAT prep course last year and is taking the review courses for AP Bio and AP Literature currently says that they are so helpful in teaching the mechanics behind the tests and with preparing you for the questions that will appear on the exams. He also says that they help a lot with testers' anxiety, and he feels infinitely more prepared for his exams after enrolling in and starting these courses. He's grateful that the school is able to offer such great opportunities free of charge and knows that they will help him come test day. So yeah, just MHS is doing a whole lot to prepare students. So I just wanted to get students' opinions and ask them how they felt and how prepared they felt. And so multiple students have shared that they felt supported by their teachers and feel generally prepared for their AP exams. And they're thankful for the measures that the school has taken to ensure their success and make them as ready as possible for test day. Thank you for your time, and make sure to wish the best for junior and senior students during the first couple weeks of May.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Oh, don't go anywhere yet.
Sorry.
Gotta ask you an AP question. Come on. So, Rachel, are you currently taking AP courses?
Yes, yeah.
And if so, what are you taking currently?
I'm taking 5. I'm taking AP Literature, AP Biology, AP Statistics. What am I taking? Oh, AP Psychology and AP Government and Politics.
Heavy load there.
Yeah.
So you probably appreciated having the pre-tests.
Yeah, I took the Kaplan review course for SATs last year, and that definitely helped me because they gave me so much free material, and it was just a super cool resource to have. So I definitely appreciate it. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for the
insight. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Who's up?
Hi, I'm Jess. I'll be presenting for Risha Khandaria tonight. Good evening. My name is Risha Khandaria, and I am the junior representative on SAC. Today, I will be talking to you about the Special Olympics State Council that I am on and the incredible opportunity that I was able to partake in due to my involvement in the council. The Special Olympics Massachusetts Youth Activation Council allows for students in Massachusetts to make an impact on Special Olympics high school programs such as unified sports, as well as promoting youth leadership in school-wide inclusion. YAC works to educate and motivate students around the state on how to become champions of inclusion. Students on YAC strive for a generation of continued inclusion, empowering themselves and others to do so. I've been part of this council for the past 2 years, and my involvement has only grown. Currently, I take the lead during the meetings, acting as a president and the meeting chair. In both years, I have presented to many students, teachers, and administrators throughout the state at summits. Some of these summits include the Massachusetts Association of Student Councils State Summit and the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Summit. The biggest opportunity I have received from the council, however, is the reason why I was unable to present to all of you last time. I was sent on a trip to Capitol Hill to represent Special Olympics Massachusetts to our members of Congress. Only 2 students were selected, me and another student on the state council from Natick High School. I have taken part in Capitol Hill Day last year as well, virtually. This year it returned to an in-person event. Both years I had the opportunity to share my story within the Special Olympics and how it has had such an impact on my life since the 3rd grade, and how without the programming we have, I would have not been the same person I am today. It is so important for leaders to get the chance to speak directly to our representatives and senators about the important work that the Special Olympics does, especially in health and education. The purpose of this trip is to encourage our lawmakers to continue support and funding for these Special Olympics programming. During this trip, I was also able to meet Special Olympics international figures such as CEO Mary Davis, and in a meeting with Tim Shriver, chairman of Special Olympics, who told me I was a very well-spoken young lady. This trip drove my passion for advocacy and politics, helping me realize that this is something I would love to do in my future. Opportunities to spread this message and grow the programming of Special Olympics, a nonprofit organization that I hold very close to my heart, is the reason why I hope to make my position through the school more widely known, hoping to find students and representatives from our school in the future who are enthusiastic and ready to take on opportunities like this as well. Tomorrow, the Youth Activation Council will be hosting our annual Spring Summit. This summit is scrapbook themed, based off of the impact that I realized storytelling had through Capitol Hill Day. I, along with my buddy Anthony Simoneau and the Connections program, will be presenting during the summit, talking about our favorite things about our unified programs, such as Unified Art and Unified Track. Towards the end of the summit, our YAC will be encouraging other student leaders to apply for the council. My hope is to get another student from Marlborough High School to apply and join me for my senior year, and will follow me through once I graduate and continue the cycle of finding students to represent our school and represent the state during all the various opportunities provided.
Any questions from the committee?
So I know I can't ask Jess this question, but I will kind of ask it a little bit more globally and then look over at the administration. I've been able to participate in a number of our Special Olympic events, which have been really amazing, and I love that we do so much for the unified program. I guess my question would be, can we make sure that the committee has an awareness of when we're going to have some of the Special Olympic event days? Just because it's a great event to be able to attend, and I know that each time when I've found out and I've been able to attend, it's really special. So I'd like to make sure that we know, and even if we can't attend that day, the rallies that you guys have done for the send-offs at the high school have been really amazing, and at each of the schools.
So we just filmed this month's Superintendent's Corner, and Mr. Fletcher was talking about Special Olympics. So we're still transitioning, and it's a broader school-based event this year.
So the Special Olympics organization hasn't gotten back to pre-COVID where we were able to do it at Fitchburg State.
Okay.
So they help facilitate districts to be able to do school-based activities. So we can certainly make sure to find out what each school is planning and get that information.
It would be great. I just I remember, some of the events that have been held that you all might remember. I think Jesse probably would remember when there was up on the track and field, all the kids were up there, and there was a lot of cheering, a lot of group camaraderie, and it was a great feeling. So it would be great to continue some of that when we can.
We will also make sure that either Assistant Superintendent O'Brien includes it in her next report, or invite Mr. Fletcher here to update as well.
Thank you. That'd be fantastic. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Good job, Jess.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm the sophomore representative, and I'm talking to you today about class elections and preparations for next year. As we are approaching the end of the year, many elections are being held in preparation for next year. We are currently running elections for our SAC, and class officers, as well as many clubs who are electing their e-board for next year. During this time, it is amazing to see the amount of people who are stepping up and want to make a difference for their school. Especially in the underclassmen, many people who have now settled into the school are now taking action and making sure they can make the best of their high school experience. This will hopefully help in the constant growth of participation in extracurriculars because it will influence more people to join a club like these new officers did. Along with elections, many clubs and class representatives are also having more end-of-the-year fundraisers to prepare for the events and other possible expenses that they may face next year. Although it does not feel like it, homecoming and prom for next year are closely approaching, and we are trying to ensure that those experiences are the best that they can be. Overall, I think it is great to see people putting in the effort and working together to set ourselves up for success in the following year, which will hopefully lead to our upperclassmen years running smoothly and being as fun as possible.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, Sarah. You're good.
Yeah. Just talk up a little bit.
Hello everybody, my name is Atul Mador and I'm the 9th grade representative. Today I would like to talk to you all about the Work-Based Learning Alliance. The Work-Based Learning Alliance is a high school program that connects students with businesses and organizations to give them internships in their chosen field. Through this virtual internships, students have the opportunity to work on meaningful projects, develop practical skills,
Oh,
and build
Atul,
connections.
apparently it's not on.
That work? All right.
There we go. Now we hear you.
Okay. The Work-Based Learning Alliance offers many different fields for students to intern in. Some of them are accounting and finance, engineering, healthcare, law, marketing, media and journalism, and visual arts and design. This internship not only gives students opportunities to build skills, but the best part is we get paid. Over the course of 10 weeks, students are asked to work with the team to create a final project by the end of the internship. Students are assigned with the team by the general interest of the team. So if the group loves engineering, then the project will have something to do with that. They also get a mentor in their group, and this mentor is specialized in what they're doing. The mentor also works with another company, and students work together to create their project. This not only gives them a great opportunity, but also great connections. Ms. Chenier, who is the career specialist at MHS, was informed of this opportunity because of Metro West Hire. They are the workforce investment board for the youth in our region. At MHS, there are 11 students partaking in the spring internship program, and there are more who are going to take in the summer. I'm also taking this internship, and I'm doing a project on IBM's artificial intelligence. All in all, the Work-Based Learning Alliance is a program that is amazing opportunities for us high school students. We get a glimpse of our careers in the future and what we could end up getting into. Not only that, but the connections to other students and mentors is an amazing bonus. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Questions from the committee?
Hennessy.
Ms. Hennessy.
Have to, because I've got to ask Atul. I was hoping for a robotic update as well.
Yes. So we did go to Iowa, March 23rd, I believe we left, and we came back that Sunday. So it was a wonderful trip. People there were really nice. I was surprised of that. But there was actually nothing there. I think that we were making jokes left and right. The funniest thing was we looked out of our hotel window and there's just cranes and 2 smokestacks, which is hilarious. There was a lot of teams there, and we made like a lot of good teammates and friends. There's 186 teams.
Wow.
So it was big. We made it to eliminations, which was definitely our goal.
Yeah.
We did well, and I'm proud of what we've done. Next year, hopefully, we go to Worlds. So.
That's great. Thank you for that update off the cuff. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I
Yeah.
add something?
You
So,
may.
thank you. I'm glad Ms. Klein is here, and I just want to let all of you know that on May 4th at the State House, it is the MASC, so the Mass Association of School Committees Day on the Hill, when we get to hear from legislators about education in Massachusetts. And then we have a big lunch that's prepared by all the VOTEC schools from around the state, and that's actually at the State House. And we have our 3 legislators that cover Marlborough, 2 reps, and our senator will all be joining us for lunch that day. And there's a program specifically for students to come. So I wanted to make sure, I know through the school, MASC school committee, student council group, they may have sent that information out. No? Well, you're all invited. And if you, I don't know if you can come and bring them or figure something out, we can talk some more. But I just wanted to let you know that you are all invited to that May 4th at the State House.
Thank you.
You are welcome, as well as my colleagues here.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you. The 2023-2024 school calendar is an action item for later tonight. There's been one change since the draft that was shared during the last school committee meeting. Usually we have a complete list of MCAS testing dates when we build the calendar, but the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has not published the FY24 assessment calendar, and earlier today they told me it would be available later this month. But Mrs. Sevilla, being the magician that she is, was able to confirm tentative dates with DESE, and we rescheduled the May early release day to the month of April to avoid a high school testing conflict in the draft. Secondly, Marlborough Public Schools Art Show. The citywide art show took place on Tuesday, April 4th. The halls of Whitcomb School has been lined with the artwork of our kindergarten through grade 12 students. Families, students, staff, and community members were able to view art from all of our schools. If any family or community member missed this wonderful event, the virtual art gallery is open. You'll find a link on the homepage of the Marlborough Public Schools website. Finally, I have something I'm trying to communicate to every family in Marlborough Public Schools as many times as possible. And last month in my March update, I focused on recent concerns regarding student attendance. Yes, if your child is ill, we do not want them to come to school. That is a COVID lesson that we have all learned. But years ago, building and district attendance concerns, we only focused on statewide test scores and the state accountability system. And that was the reasons why we asked our students to come to school every day. In 2023, we want to communicate with all families that our attendance conversations are all focused on providing our students with as much instruction as possible. We want to teach all students, but we need them in our classes. Each district reports enrollment and attendance data to the state multiple times throughout the year. In Marlborough's March 1st report, 31.9% of our students were reported as chronically absent. The state defines chronically absent as any student that has missed 10% or more of school days. Almost 1/3 of our students have missed 10% or more of their classroom instruction. All of our schools have been and will continue to reach out to families to try to reduce this percentage of chronically absent students. If a student misses 13 days at the 130th day of school, they are chronically absent. If we work together and they have been in school for 117 of the 130 school days. But if we work together and the student does not miss another day of school, they will be absent 13 days of 180 days. Not only will they not be chronically absent, but they will have also received 167 days of instruction. If any family needs support, please reach out to your child's schools. And some of those supports have been, some of our elementary schools have been working with families to have thermometers at home or other resources so that you know when a child should be in school. So let's work together, let's be partners, but we need to have children and all students in our classrooms. And we were just talking about it yesterday with Ms. Barry, so we're all united in this together.
Questions for the superintendent? Thank you very much.
Ms. Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just had a question. In regards to the attendance, who's checking or who's following up with the families in regards to the attendance? Like, whose responsibility is that? And does it vary on an elementary level versus high school level? Like, who's following up with the families?
It does. Generally, we've been talking to the Principal Riley about this a lot recently, because I think it falls more on the guidance department at that level. At the elementaries, the principals have been the point people on that. Our Aspen system does automatic reports. Ms. O'Brien's been following up as well with individual building-based reports as well. Our data people have been involved. We're trying to create more of the team. One of the things that the leadership team of the district has been talking about all year is what's not working for our students. And about 4 months ago, we identified student attendance was not working. Not being in school is not working for our students. They cannot succeed. So we have been trying to develop multiple layer plans for that. But definitely the guidance and how that is dealt with at different levels is one of our priority areas. Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask a follow-up on that, though? So, like, what's your benchmark of then when do you reach out? I mean, waiting until you're deep into it.
7 days, right?
Yeah, waiting until you're deep into it is kind of tough then
Right.
for folks to kind of dig out. I guess my question is kind of what's your trigger early on? So let's say if you've had 4 absences in a month and it's not necessarily been consecutive, and so not a flu, a COVID, something like that. What's the trigger?
There are regulations on this, and I believe that it is currently, it should be 7 absences is when it's triggered that the school is supposed to start the conversations, and it's a formal process. You should be doing diversion meetings, so individual. That's why a lot of the principals are reaching out and saying, can you come in, can we talk about it, can we come up with a plan on how to address this? When you look at 10% of 180 days, right? That's 18 days over the year.
Yeah.
But earlier in the year,
Right.
like 9 is at the half day. Yes. So 7 is basically, I think it might be 4 a semester. We have built in automatic reports to print out.
We did, and early on in the school year, we had reviewed at one of Superintendent Murphy's cabinet meetings, or leadership meetings with the building principals, the district attendance policy, which goes through the steps as far as when to reach out to parents, as well as like what's excused, what's not excused. And our discussions have been around like the communication and getting parents to realize the detriment of not having their child in versus just saying we're going to file for truancy with the courts. So if it does get to that point where parents have not been responsive, then that is the route that that principals are going, and involving Steve Marchiarelli and filing with the courts.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to look for like what's that earlier benchmark, because I think sometimes if we can catch it earlier rather than waiting, until we're deep in, it kind of puts all of us in a better position where the families feel like we're partnering earlier on as opposed to waiting for it to be a bigger red flag. So, okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Dr. Scaza.
Thank you, Mayor Vigent. MCAS testing has begun at the high school in ELA on Tuesday, March 28th. I did hear from Assistant Principal Travers, who stated on day one we had 252 out of 268 students, or 94% of all students test. He stated that this is a testament to the preparation of Marlborough High School staff who worked diligently to ensure that our students were prepared and confident. Math MCAS testing for the high school is scheduled for May 16th and 17th. For grade 10, the high school does a late arrival, as we had heard earlier tonight, and for grades 9, 11, and 12 on those days. Science testing is scheduled for June 6th and 7th, which will be grade 9 physics and grade 10 and 11 biology for those students who need a retake. And then the Whitcomb School starts testing tomorrow, April 12th. Students in grades 6 through 8 will take session 1 of ELA, and then math and science testing for the Whitcomb students starts on May 16th and May 22nd. Our 4 elementary schools started testing today in grades 3, 4, and 5 in the content area of ELA. Math and science MCAS testing will start for the elementary schools when we return from April break. And as far as no news is good news. I have not heard about any testing issues. A couple minor hiccups, but nothing that wasn't quickly rectified. And I'm looking over at Mrs. Berry for some confirmation on that.
It went smoothly. Yes.
All right, wonderful. All right. Yes.
I was just going to ask, I know because all the kids are using their computers, we have bandwidth is good.
We did do an infrastructure test prior to the test sessions officially starting, and Scott Parmentier and his team were able to test the bandwidth or the strength. They felt comfortable and confident going into testing, and I think the result today was that it can hold. All right. Summer programming. Yes, we are already starting to talk about summer camps, and we have begun preparing for these programs. The Office of Teaching and Learning that I'll speak to tonight oversees the Summer Title I program, kindergarten through 8, the Marlborough High School Credit Recovery Program, the Whitcomb School Jump Start Program for students entering grade 6 to get them comfortable with the middle school environment, and the Camp Invention Program, which is open to our elementary students entering grades 3 through 5. We have coordinators for all of these programs. The referrals for students has begun. Staffing, we have started to staff for all these programs, and I feel like we're doing a good job getting ahead of it and being prepared for the summer months as we creep through the spring here. I'm going to jump to ahead here to Year 1 seminars. That's our Year 1 educators. In the mentoring program, the 2022-2023 MEA mentoring program was a series of workshops that focused on the MPS strategies for improvement, the evaluation process, learning targets and success criteria, English learner strategies, the MEA contract, Aspen tools, and emergency procedures, to name some. And the final seminar for this group was held last Thursday, April 6th. Congratulations to all our Year 1 MEA members who completed this series of seminars. Everyone did a great job. They were active listeners and active participants. As a reminder, all of these first-year MEA staff members had an assigned mentor, and the mentoring program will be completed next month. We have a meeting, our final meeting in May. Next year, many of these Year 1 staff members will continue on to the final stage of the induction program when they will participate in the Year 2 course. And
Question from the committee.
just one, yeah, I jumped, because I brought Dr. Reyes with me just in case we have any questions on the reading ways. That's my final agenda item here tonight. We have been partnering with the Reading Ways organization in an effort to support interdisciplinary literacy in our middle and high school classrooms. It's something that we know we need to concentrate and focus on, and that Reading Ways organization has helped us along the way. Jody Reyes, Lynn Medallion, Jen Ryan, and Sue Charpentier have been instrumental in making this vision start to become a reality. We are currently laying out a plan to continue this work with new cohorts of educators next school year, And Dr. Reyes has joined us to explain the details of this partnership and help answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Skaza. I'm here to talk about our work with the Reading Waste organization. I believe I mentioned it in passing several months ago, and I'm here happy to go into a little more detail. I wanted to give a little context first. So when the Common Core and the Massachusetts English and literacy frameworks came out in 2010 or 2012, one of the shifts that the new standards demanded, or the then new standards demanded, was that all content area teachers became responsible for teaching reading, writing, speaking, and listening within their discipline. And this is reflected in the MCAS, which, so even though we call it the ELA MCAS for short, I believe it's really an English language arts and literacy MCAS. So students, especially with the next generation MCAS, they are likely not to just encounter something that is in the domain of the English teacher, like a poem or a short story. They're likely to encounter scientific texts with a lot of technical language. They're likely to encounter historical texts which have a lot of like lists and lists of details. Traditionally, our content area teachers have they have been trained in the content, but not necessarily in teaching students how to be literate in that content area. So how to read historical texts or scientific texts, how to write in discipline-specific ways. And so we as a district, we recognize the need to support our content area teachers in helping their students develop disciplinary literacy. I mean, as a district, we've invested in bringing in intervention teachers to help our students read at grade level. And in addition to that, we also need to develop our Tier 1 instruction. So the intervention, that's kind of a Tier 2. And so to supplement that or to support that, we also need to improve our content area teachers' ability to help their students read and write at grade level. And so to support teachers, we partnered with Reading Waste. And so typically when we bring in, let's say, a quote-unquote PD provider, they're an outside provider. They come in, they offer a few workshops, and then they leave. And Reading Waste is a little different from that. So for the most part, teachers don't interact directly with Reading Waste. So Reading Waste has a website where they have tons of resources, and this website is accessible to all secondary teachers at Whitcomb and at the high school. So these are tools that can support reading and writing instruction. But the model is, it's actually, so we've designated site leaders at Whitcomb and the high school. So Jen Ryan is the site leader at Whitcomb. She leads a cohort of about 19 teachers from all disciplines. And then Sue Charpentier at the high school is the site leader leading essentially a professional learning community of about a dozen 11th and 12th grade English, history, and chemistry teachers. So they meet every other cycle as a professional learning community, and this model was designed specifically because it embodies, or it has the elements that research has shown characterize effective professional development. it's sustained. It has coaching and peer support. It provides time for collaboration. So this is a year-long professional development program, essentially, where Sue and Jen, who are literacy experts but not necessarily content experts, are leading professional learning communities with content area teachers who are experts at the content but not necessarily in teaching reading or writing, speaking and listening. And they've been working together trying to develop ways or trying to figure out ways of building students' academic language and like how to embed the 6 EL strategies and other research-based literacy practices in their content area classrooms, because how reading and writing look like in science is different from how they look like in English, how they look like in history, how they look like in math. Even the math MCAS essentially has literacy demands of our students, how to read a word problem, for instance. And so I've been very encouraged by the work that Jen and Sue have led. Right now, the topic that they've been focusing on is discussion. So I've been hearing and seeing teachers actually implement some of these strategies in their classroom. So at Whitcomb, for instance, a lot of teachers in the cohort have decided to implement a strategy called Chalk Talk, which is essentially a nonverbal or a non-spoken discussion. So there's a piece, imagine a piece of chart paper or a whiteboard where the teacher poses a question and then students write down their answers or their thoughts about it without saying a word. And so a student can kind of connect their answer to another student's answer, and it builds off just as a high quality discussion would. I've had a teacher whom I evaluate invite me to his class because he was so excited. He'd learned about these talk moves to help extend students' thinking and discussion, and he wanted me to see them. And it was heartening to see a teacher like him, and by extension other teachers, try something that they hadn't done before. And I think it's that type of sustained collaboration with peer support where teachers are inviting Jen and Sue into their classrooms to give feedback. They're not evaluators, so it creates psychological safety, and the feedback is more likely to be internalized and lead to sustained changes in practice. We're starting to look ahead to the next cohort. So at Whitcomb, we're looking to start recruiting teachers soon. At the high school, there are some scheduling constraints. The schedule is not as flexible as it is in Whitcomb, so we have to be strategic in identifying which content area teams. So we're tentatively looking at 11th and 12th grade science, math, and 9th grade science, math, and history teachers as the next cohort. So we're wrapping up the first of what we hope is a 3-year partnership with Reading Ways. We want to onboard a new cohort next year while allowing for Jen and Sue to continue to support the first cohort this year to build on their learning. And I think that's it. Any questions?
Questions from the committee?
Once this 3-year process is done, do we still have access to the online stuff that?
Yeah, so I think we pay a nominal fee to extend access to their website. I should have mentioned one of the things that is important to the Reading Ways organization is to build that capacity and to sustain the learning beyond the 3 years. So they're committed to building Jen and Sue's capacity. So Jen and Sue meet with Reading Ways weekly to support them as they support their teachers. I also should have mentioned Lynn Medallion and I are leading a cohort of the supervisors. So we meet every other week, and that way we can support our teachers as another layer of feedback. Because this is something that involves all disciplines, and like if we want to have sustained improvements in student achievement, it can't just be the interventionists who help catch students up. Every teacher needs to support that effort.
And so in terms of how to evaluate the success after that 3-year process is over, obviously, you know, I would imagine scores, test scores, but do you have other strategies to?
So I think, I believe the central office team and the supervisors, we engage in walkthroughs, and so seeing changes in practice, so seeing how teachers are trying new things, embedding more reading, writing, speaking, and listening into the curriculum, into their instruction. So that's something that can be observed in walkthroughs. We also hear anecdotally from Jen and Sue that teachers are trying new things and inviting them into their room, and I think that's something we've never really had. We've never really had that culture of peers observing peers in the district. So it's still a relatively small percentage of the teachers. We're talking 31 teachers right now, but I think it's a small and powerful group. And imagine if eventually every teacher got to participate in a cohort. So you have those 31 teachers continuing to embed those practices, continue to learn, and then we add another cohort, and then we add another cohort. And I think, so rather than try to get everyone on board at once, we're starting small. So like in terms of the number of students this impacts, it might not be an entire school at once, but we're hoping that over time this will lead to more sustained improvements.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jody.
Good? Yes, thank you. Entertain a motion to accept the minutes of March 28th.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Motion made and seconded to approve. Any discussion?
I just have a question. Under the MEF grants, do we not usually list the specifics of who got what grants and to what schools they went to? It just lists the overall donation.
Yes, we do. I wasn't provided with that, but I will get it and have Patty attach it to the minutes.
Okay. My only other question is under the substitute pay increase. I don't see a total. Like I don't see it listed in here what it was agreed to. It says it's attached to this agenda item. Is it actually attached to it? I don't see it attached to our document. It's under F.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what was the question?
It lists we approved the substitute pay rates.
It wasn't in the agenda, that's right.
It was in the agenda, but it's not here in the minutes what we approved. Does it need to be in the minutes, what we approved?
Because it was an attachment, yeah.
Because it was an attachment to our agenda, but should it be in here? I know we never discussed the minutes, but.
We'll have both documents.
But that's the only one.
We made the amendment to change it to the.
We changed.
It was the
a couple
long-term
things.
sub, and then there was the other.
So, motion with the two changes to be added.
Motion made and seconded to approve as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. Public participation. Any public participation? Public participation. Seeing none. I just want to be clear, we have nothing on the agenda about the contract or anything. You're barking up the wrong tree. We gave it big increases to our drivers this year. Thank you very much.
Mayor, appreciate the hospitality. I was just going to ask for 2 minutes to explain why we're here. I know that the laws require that you have to speak on the agenda, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Action items, FY24 school calendar. What's the pleasure?
I have, well, I'll make a motion to accept, but I have changes.
Motion made and seconded to approve, and here we go.
Little things.
Okay.
November 22nd, 24th Thanksgiving recess should come before the November 28th school committee meeting.
Oh, just on the
Yes.
text? Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that. Yeah. It's just backwards.
I highlight March 12th as, oh, March 12th school committee meeting should come after the March 5th professional day.
That is accurate
March
as well.
12th.
Switch.
Flip-flop,
Flip-flop,
okay.
yes, and
Eagle eye.
April 3rd is a typo, you're saying?
early release day, professional
December.
deck for staff, yes. And
Professional day.
DEV, yep.
Yeah.
Or development, DEV. The other ones are DEV.
Professional development, okay.
And on November 7th, there's an extra little tick mark there.
November 7th on the text line? Okay.
No, next to the number.
On the number?
Oh.
There's just a little dash.
There's like a little.
Yeah,
little
okay.
dash.
Yeah.
And I believe that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that was it for
Good.
me. So motion to approve with those changes.
Motion to approve as amended.
wait.
Ms. Ryan.
That's right.
All right, so my questions are, seems like more half-days than usual. I did look at this year's calendar versus this current year versus next year, and I'm just wondering if we're creating a hardship for our population, because sometimes half-days can be hard for families. That's one question. And then my other question is, for as long as I can remember, like the 15 years that I've been a Marlborough Public School parent, we've always had a 4-day weekend in January, and you're taking that away.
Yeah, so the two things is the early release days, we increased them to 6 this year, and I think there's 6 next year. And it came from Superintendent Bergeron's strategies for improvement. People asked for them to have more of that ability for the grade levels to meet across. Yes, it's all been focused on the new literacy, which is good, but wanting to have that time for that. So it is the same.
I think there was 2 more half-days for this schedule.
Yes, so that continues next year. So if you want to have a discussion about that. And then, yes, we've always had the 4-day weekend in January, but there is a presidential primary in March. And with our schools being used as voting precincts, we will be potentially having school if there is a city primary in September, but a presidential primary has the potential for having a lot of citizens wanting to get into our buildings. And so it's not usual, but every 4 years or so, right?
Okay.
All right.
Hennessy, and then I have a question.
Mrs. Hennessy.
Thank you. Just would ask, once we actually get a calendar that's set from the district, can we also then make sure that we work with all of the buildings so things such as musical concerts, things like that are aligned more easily overall? I do have some concerns that I think with some of the recent concert things that have been going on, they were overlapping with either some other things that were going on within district, or frankly, I know we don't. We are non-secular, but I think we have to be mindful, just like when we've talked about certain times of wanting to have attendance, we need to be mindful of not putting some of those type of events where we know that there could be a population affected that night. So I just want to put it out there. We've got to be jumping ahead on that sooner than having it become a problem.
So generally there's a second page to the calendar, which is our starting point. The leadership team has already started identifying parent-teacher conferences, curriculum nights, all those dates go first. Then usually Mr. Rosenthal is trying to put all of his dates on the calendar once those are, and then looking at afterwards. One of the things that we have identified as an issue is that we need one central calendar with all dates. So as we're talking about changes to the website and transitioning, that is one of our areas because we understand that the way that it is currently, people don't want to have each day filled up, but personally, I would prefer to see everything in one spot than to look for an event on multiple different places and never finding it. And so, yes, we have been talking about this almost every meeting.
Yeah, and I'm sure you are. I just would be really remiss if I didn't say that, because I think just like we want to be mindful about half-days and situations, we have a lot of families that have kids in different buildings that do have religious things that they want to attend, and I don't think they want to be pulled on what is more of a priority. That shouldn't be something, because it all has importance. So thank you. Appreciate the mindfulness of looking at that.
So going back to that 4 versus 6 early release, because we do know that it is potentially could be a burden. We work with the Boys and Girls Club and all of the areas trying to make sure that there's activities available. We've gone back and forth on, some families have said that it would be easier if it wasn't on the same day of the month for work, because they felt like they were asking to leave on Wednesdays on a regular basis, as opposed to the consistency of being able to arrange for after-school programs knowing that it was on the same day. I think that we are driven by the thinking that the 6 days in the long run will help the staff and will help teaching and learning, so therefore will benefit our students. So that is why we tried to build it, and yeah, Ms. Barry's going, yeah. But that's ultimately up to.
And tying it all back to your superintendent's report, how's our attendance on half days?
Yeah. If you want to wait, and we can run that and give you
That was my question too, because I think historically, I mean, years ago, I remember we used to have half-days all the time. Then we stopped doing half-days because
accountability
the kids didn't come at all.
Yeah.
And now, if we're dealing with attendance as a major issue, I think we need to look at that data.
We can bring back that data, and we can hold and you not vote on that until you have it. You can always re-vote? Okay.
You can always change
But
it
we'll
now.
bring that back on the next meeting.
Good?
Yep.
So we're going to hold off the vote.
No, I think we can vote, because
We can vote and just re-vote.
Yeah.
Great.
We need to. People.
Any further discussion?
I know families are looking, they're scheduling vacations, and they need the information.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Acceptance of donations and gifts. Classical Association of New England, Whitcomb School, Miss McCormick Lane, $500.
Motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Hope and Comfort, MPS Families, $1,300.
Motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Reports of subcommittees. Any reports? Nothing. Members Forum. Any members forum? Ms. Matthews?
I have reviewed the warrant and will sign it.
That's great. We'll pay people.
Yes.
I have something.
Yep.
So I saw on social media I didn't catch it live, but the Channel 5 did a little story on the Girls on the Run program at Jarrick, which was amazing. I mean, what a great program. And I feel like there's probably more things like this going on in the district that we don't even know about. So how do we find out about them other than Channel 5 showing up to do it? I know Jill is going around the district, taping things, but if you go on the YouTube or whatever, you could probably find it. But it's an geared towards elementary school girls, and it's all about running and leadership and community, giving back to the community. It looks like a great program, so.
Thank you. Other members, Ms. Hennessy.
Another kudos around communication, though, was the social media post about the kindergarten. It's adorable. I mean, it's just cute to hear directly from the kids what matters the most to them. And then when the little girl, when the little girl goes like this, and then finally the question comes out about, okay, so what does this mean? It's it's great to see. So thank you for having those kind of moments. That's great.
Any other members? Any other members?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made, seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Thank you very much.